idea was this?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, this is fun. I don't even want to go into the limo.
You're gonna snag it up.
Now, see, it floats.
You know what, though? I'm looking forward to that show tonight.
Oh, man. Sold out.
Boy, that's a good cast.
That was a beautiful cast, wasn't it?
That's real nice.
He can cast great. He just never
can't catch anything.
He's a great caster.
You gonna do a fishing show in there?
That's all you think about is fishing shows.
I'll tell you what, I hate those things, man. Every cast they do, they catch a fish. We got $5,000 worth of gear here. We can't get the bugs to bite.
Okay.
First time I ever went fishing, I was going with this girl. We were going down the lake down there, and she wanted to make love on a horse, and I never done it, and we did it, and I'm trying to keep my balance, and she fell off, and then the manager of Walmart come out and unplugged them out there. I didn't even want to make love on the horse. I wanted to do it on the rocket ship they had, but they were kidding on it.
Oh, man, shut up.
Who do you think has been with the ugliest woman here?
Have you ever been with an ugly
The
woman?
ugliest woman I've ever been with last week, and I'm starting to miss her.
You remember that movie, 9.5 Weeks? When that fella had that woman all blindfolded and was feeding her fruit and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I was in there going, I'm gonna try that in my house. Well, apparently, bologna and string cheese is not a big turn on. Choose your condiments correctly.
One of those shows I was watching said the big thing now is you're supposed to talk to your partner while you're making love.
I heard that, yeah.
You know, which where I come from means ain't no cars coming, relax.
Hey, there's David.
David!
Did you see us out here?
We're in the middle of a lake in a boat. If he can, I ain't riding with him.
Come on, guys.
Hey, better get your stuff in.
Oh, man, are you serious?
Come on, got a show to do.
Well, they're gonna put me in the movie. They're gonna make a big star out of me. We'll make a film about a man that's sad and lonely. And all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, I bet I'm gonna be a star.
Have you ever had makeup on? One time, but I was young and needed the money.
Hey guys, I didn't want to interrupt you. Listen, I took the liberty of doing a little shopping for you guys. Now, as we discussed before, I just think you should give some color, bring it to the stage, pizzazz. That's what
David, this is the most dressed up Larry has been all year long.
That's great. Listen, guys, pick a suit. They're all labeled. Try them on, knock it out the box, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, fellas?
We'll put them on now?
Clean shirt? No way.
Stuff that was on sale?
We're trying to get people's favorite Jeff Foxworthy joke.
You know you're a redneck if you go to a family reunion looking for a wife.
You might be a redneck.
If your tires on your truck cost more than your truck.
You might be a redneck if you
Find yourself climbing a water tower.
to erase your sister's name.
If your wife's ever said, come move this transmission so I can take a bath.
I'm not just dead sure I've got underwear on.
There ain't no way I'm squeezing into these things.
First of all, Tammy Faye Baker, I want to say is, I'm kidding you. Come on. You know you're a redneck kid.
Your mother can tell a state trooper to kiss her ass without taking the Marlboro out of her mouth.
You might be a redneck if you...
Got a motor swinging from your tree, an engine swinging from a tree.
Look at this tall fella. I didn't even know they made a 28-button suit.
No, you're a redneck if.
You might be a redneck if
know you're a redneck when you're mowing your lawn.
mow your front yard.
If you mow your grass and you find a car.
You might be a redneck if you go to a dance and they say, do the hood down, you throw your girlfriend on the floor.
What's up, G?
A lot of white people in here this evening.
Where's my horse? Where's my
You
horse?
guys look like my relatives. You can't go on stage dressed like this. Phoenix, Arizona, this is it. Are you guys ready to laugh? Make some noise, please, for Mr. Ron White.
Yeah,
Yesterday I was sitting in a beanbag chair naked eating Cheetos. And I was flipping through the television and I saw Robert Tilton. He's a televangelist from Dallas, and he was staring at me. He said this, he said, "Are you lonely?" Yeah. He said, "If you wasted half your life in bars pursuing sins of the flesh," this guy's good. He said, "Are you sitting in a beanbag chair naked eating Cheetos?" "Yes, sir." He said, "Do you feel the urge to get up and send me $1,000? Close. I thought he was talking about me there for a second. So anyway, I flew here from Flagstaff because my manager doesn't own a Globe. I flew here on a plane that big, like a pack of gum with 8 people in it. We took off from the Flagstaff Airport Hair Care and Tire Center there. We're traveling at half the speed of smell. We got passed by a kite. There was a goose behind us and the pilot was going, "Go around." We get halfway to Phoenix, we gotta go back. It's a 9-minute flight. Can't pull it off with this equipment. We had some engine trouble. We lost some oil pressure in one of the engines, and they told us about it over the speaker system of the plane, which was stupid because they could have just went, "Hey, we lost some oil pressure." Heard ya. It was weird. Everybody on the plane was nervous, but I'd been drinking since lunch, and I was like, "Take it down, I don't care." You ever had one of those days? It's something hard. I don't want to limp away from this wreck. The guy sitting next to me is losing his mind. Apparently, he had a lot to live for. He goes, "Hey man, hey man, if one of these engines fails, how far will the other one take us?" "All the way to the scene of the crash." Which is pretty handy because that's where we're headed. I bet we beat the paramedics there by a half hour. I saw something today that came close to truth in advertising. The De Beers people are almost saying what they really mean, because the old De Beers slogan was, "Diamonds are forever." Then they changed it to this year, "Take her breath away." The new slogan is, "Diamonds render her speechless." Well, why don't they just go ahead and say it? Diamonds. That'll shut her up. For a minute. It's good to be here. I was here last summer, and they took me tubing down the Salt River, and I was baffled by this. I had never done it before. 21 of us met to go tube the river. We had 6 ice chests full of beer with the tubes wrapped around them. You know what I'm talking about? We floated down that river drinking beer for 6.5 hours. Not one person had to pee. Is that normal? I'd like to think my friends wouldn't pee on themselves. I know I would. That was the best thing about tubing the river. You could just paddle up to somebody you don't even know. Talk to them while you're peeing on yourself. That's relaxed right there. If you're floating down a river, drinking a beer, peeing on yourself, There's no tension there, is there? I guess we've been floating down that river for like an hour before I realized to myself, well, everybody's just peeing on themselves. And I thought, hell, I'll just pee on myself. Everybody got mad at me. Of course, I was in a canoe. Standing up, too. Not everybody got mad. A couple people viewed it as a photo opportunity. And I know that because I got their Christmas card last year. I don't remember it being that cold that afternoon. So I just got back from 10 days in Los Angeles. If you ever have a chance to do that, pass on that. I learned things when I go to LA. I learned this. They have bikinis now made out of seashells. I didn't know that. And I also didn't know this. If you're ever walking down the beach and you see a girl dressed in a bikini made out of seashells and you pick her up and hold her to your ear, you can hear her scream. I thought I'd hear the ocean, but not over that woman. When we got in last night, some guys asked me if I wanted to go to a topless bar, and I didn't want to go. I just ended up going because you guys backed me up on this. You've seen one woman naked. You want to see the rest of them naked. It could be an old biker chick, you know, they're going to hang down to here. You don't see me naked? Yeah, I do. All right, that's enough. Roll them back up. Things that make you go. It was a wild night. I ended up getting back to the Phoenician Hotel. They're so snooty. I got back to the hotel at 7:30 this morning, and I went up to the desk to leave a wake-up call for 7 o'clock. And the lady goes, Mr. White, it's past 7. Like, no, the next one. You got another one coming around, don't you? Why don't you just put me on that one? Huh? Here they're running 2 a day through Arizona. I'm from Texas. In Texas, we have the death penalty and we use it. That's right. If you come to Texas and kill somebody, we will kill you back. That's our policy. They're trying to pass a bill right now through the Texas legislature that'll speed up the process of execution in heinous crimes where there's more than 3 credible eyewitnesses. If more than 3 people saw you do what you did, you don't sit on death row for 15 years, Jack. You go straight to the front of the line. Other states are trying to abolish the death penalty. My state's putting in an express lane. Thanks for playing along. I hope you enjoyed it. Good night.
Fellas, look at this.
Yeah, hi.
Come on, let's go in there.
No,
Come on, it's Victoria's
come
Secret.
back here. No.
Come on. I want to get my mom something.
Larry,
I want to get my mom something.
We're in there.
Oh, hi. Welcome to Victoria's Secret.
Let's just get him out of here, all right?
I'm in here. I'm trying to get my mom something for her birthday.
Something
That's
like,
what I'm
this, perhaps.
Look at these.
See,
You
they're
got any?
stretchy, you know.
Yeah, but these are small. You got anything in large?
Yes, let me see. I'm sure we have something.
These are cool. Look at these. See, this is what I'm talking about. See how big it is? This will cover her. This will cover the moles and the hair coming out the top here and the whole deal. She's got all sorts of problems.
Ron.
It ain't for me.
These are cool. You got anything with other sayings on the front of them or anything?
Other things? Yes. I mean, we have just married or sexy or foxy. You can also have them embroidered.
I could put get her done right there.
Yes.
I could put me some get her done drawers right
Let's
there.
go. Come on, we gotta go.
Come on, look who I got. I got a good looking girl here. We're looking at leopard bikinis.
Come on, man. Just put it. I'm really sorry for anything.
I'll come back. She showed me all kinds of furry britches.
All right, wait.
Hey, see you later.
Come on.
Bye.
Let's go.
Remember when you used to get the plastic dog turds?
black light
The
poster.
plastic vomits and the nothing says happy anniversary, sweetheart, like a bunch of rubber dog turds.
I love this store.
This is the best store on the planet.
It is.
What is this?
Oh, wait, I'm telling you, Jeff, this is art like you have never heard.
Oh, it's remote control fart.
So you put it under somebody else's chair and then walk out of the room. And
That's
Can I get you
beautiful.
Isn't that
How
nice?
much is that?
Thanks for alive.
Have a good day.
this man has made enough money to buy anything in the mall, and he gets the remote control fart machine. Very proud.
Yeah, my mama, she didn't love me. Yeah, stay out all night long. Oh, Lord. Well, my mama didn't love me. Yeah, this is stay out all night long.
You know, if we had grown up together, he would have been the guy we would be putting in the trunk and pushing him down the basement stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, sorry about that.
Boogie.
Oh my God.
Maybe I'll get some.
Lasts for 18 hours. And
I apologize. I'll be back.
are you downwind or what?
Yeah, I'll be back. I'm sorry.
This is a long-lasting product.
He's still trying to sell the product the whole time I'm farting on it.
Phoenix, Arizona, I give you the one, the only, Larry the Cable Guy.
God bless you. Get her done! Boy, good to see you, good to see you. I had a horrible nightmare last night. I dreamt I drunk the world's largest margarita and woke up this morning, there was salt on the toilet lid. Yeah, thank God I didn't eat the worm in there. I'll tell you that much right there. Boy, that wouldn't have been good right there. It was a crazy week. I called one of them 900 talk dirty numbers the other day. You ever call one of them? That's it, 2 people, that's it. And those voices sounded familiar, to be honest with you. Well, don't call it a rip-off. I got a girl that stuttered and it cost me $1,700 on that deal in there. You believe that? But I love women. I used to date this one girl, had one boob bigger than the other, and she got in a wet t-shirt contest and took 1st and 3rd place out there at the contest out there. Bless her heart. I was so proud of my sister, bless her heart, I tell you. That's right. I used to date this one girl looked like Michelle Pfeiffer, only a little shorter, and the face was different. I was drinking, it looked like Michelle Pfeiffer. Next morning, Barney Pfeiffer laying there in the bed there. He was ugly. I had one girl had a beauty mark on her cheek. That was pretty sexy, like Cindy Crawford. We get to kissing and stuff. I was looking. It was a tick. I knew. I disappeared like a set of rims at a Puff Daddy concert. I tell you what, I was out the door. Out the door. So I went shopping around today. Went to the mall. I went in. You ever seen this PetSmart? Oh, the critter store. You been in there? Yeah. You know what they got in there? A dog water purifying machine. You believe that? $75. Dog water purifying machine. I'm like, what's that thing do right there? She said, it purifies your dog's drinking water. Well, he just ate a turd 10 minutes ago over there. Well, you got any turd purifying machines in here for Pete's sake? What in the world? That's like wiping before you poop. It don't make sense to do something like that. Doesn't make any sense at all in here. Pete's sake. Then I went in there to the Victoria's Secret. You ever been in there? Yeah, get her done. That's right. That's like a grown fella Chuck E. Cheese in there. I like that joint. I was up there the other day. I was sniffing around in there a couple hours looking for some gift ideas. You know what they got in there? Underbreeches with holes in the crotch. You believe that? $24, women paying for undershorts with holes in the crotch. I'm like, dadgum, I got a whole drawer full of them at the house, for Pete's sake. I bet I'm sitting on $200-300 worth of them underdrawers. There's a girl put a pair of them on for my birthday one time. I come home, she's sitting there, she's like, you want some of this right here? I'm like, no, look what it did to your undershirt. Good Lord, what in the world? Look like a good place for one of them plug-ins or something, for Pete's sake, one of them vanilla plug-ins or something. They got all kind of stuff out there. They got this deal now, britches you eat. You ever seen that? Eating bridges? Eating bridges. Who in the world thought of eating bridges? What do you want to do tonight? Let me eat your undershoulders. Give me a glass of milk. I'm going to gobble them up right here. I tell you. Honey, put some in the refrigerator. I'm going to make a sandwich later. I was with a girl that liked that stuff. I was seeing this good-looking girl for about 6 weeks, and then somebody took my binoculars out of the truck there. Yeah, she was a midget stripper, and seriously, I met her at a party one night. She popped out of a cupcake, but anyway, she liked all them edible underbridges, and I bought her 5 pairs of the strawberry eating bridges. And I bought 5 pair because I always end up eating 2 or 3 pair on the way to her house. They're pretty good now. Thank God they don't make them in biscuits and gravy. I'll tell you that much right there. Right, I'll be getting fat just on undershoulders. Need some Snackwell panties, that's what they need right there. Get her done, that's right. Honey, I'm on a diet. Put on some fruit roll-ups, would you? That's right. Went in for a checkup the other day. Doctor stick his finger out my hind end, all right? Didn't even tell me, does it? I'm standing there, I'm like, hey, you gonna watch a ball game on Thursday? Ooh, what in the world? Then he said he found something. I'm like, found something? I didn't even know you was looking for nothing up there. I'm all bent out of shape. What in the world's in my hind end? Hope it's a remote control. I ain't seen it in 3 weeks. No wonder every time I fart, the volume goes up on that TV set over there. Found something in my hind end. Something else. That's the worst dentist I've been to in about 5 years. I'll tell you straight up. Straight up. You know what I used to be? A lot of people don't know it, but I used to be real psychic at fairs and stuff. You know what I could do? I was at the fair. I used to be able to grab on to girls' boobs, seriously, and tell how old they was by doing that. I used to be at the fair. I had a little stool right there set up and had some keychains on it. And I'd come up, tell them what I'm doing. I'm like, I'd tell how old you are just by rubbing on your boobs. So I'd be like, hold on. Like, you're 33 years old. He's like, you ain't even close. I'm like, here's a keychain. Get her done, that's right. That's right. I seen a girl walking around the other day with earrings all over the place. You ever see that? I was with a girl one time, had 9 earrings in this hair, 7 earrings in that hair, ring in her nose, bolt in her tongue. It was like making love to her and working on my truck at the same time with that girl right there. Didn't know if I should kiss her or just a torque in her butt crack. I didn't know what to do. And my sister got one of them. My sister, big old girl. And matter of fact, I had to hire a rodeo clown to distract her when I brought home the groceries last week. But she got a belly ring. You believe that? You don't get a belly ring if you're big. You get onion rings. That's funny. I don't care who you are, that's funny right there. That's right. I didn't know what it was. She come walking in, she's like, what do you think of that right there? I'm like, hey, you got a hitch. Yeah, now we can pull you away from the buffet every now and then. It's about time you done something, for Pete's sake. That's right. I was watching the TV the other day. People suing everybody nowadays. You believe that? People getting sued for smoking the cigarettes. They say it causes cancer, they're going to get sick. Well, it says on the box you're going to get sick. I'm gonna sue Hustler magazine for giving my wrist carpal tunnel. How's that sound right there? That's right. That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny right there. You can't laugh at that. You need to get out of here, because that's funny right there. That's funny. They want to take the Winston out of NASCAR. Did you know that? They say that's offensive. Well, what in the world? Who's going to sponsor NASCAR? Stay free mini pad? That'd be pretty good racing, wouldn't it? Well, we got 43 cars this year in the Kotex Cup. There's Jeff Gordon in the number 24 Strawberry Dew Chevy Monte Carlo. How'd you get tickets to the Tampon 200? Well, we pulled some strings and we got some good seats.
Where it is?
Missed Spade.
It's the right place.
Spa.
Whatever. I hope I can get rid of backache.
Now behave.
Hello.
Hi there. We're with the Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
Yes, we've been expecting you. Thanks for coming. Have you been to a spa before?
Oh. No.
Is this a non-smoking spa?
Yes. Well, why don't we do a tour?
Now behave.
So this is kind of like a really expensive wet t-shirt contest. You got $1?
How does it feel? What does it do for you?
Put $1 in
Go ahead and soak them on, baby. I got $3 for you. Shoot, I'll give you a $10 bill right there. Look at that. What do you get for 35 and a half? Would have been enough, would have been enough. All right. By God, you done made almost $60. Got any more rooms with women in them dipped in chocolate sauce like that last one?
Do you have an opening as a towel boy here?
I'll give you $100.
What's she doing?
I believe you're doing it wrong. Hold on. You go like this. You kind of hit on the mic here. Look at that. That's nice. You like that? See? Now that's how you give a massage. Right here like this. Make sure you hit her hind end a couple of times. Okay. Like Wipeout or something.
Okay, this feels really funky.
Hey, what kind of joint you running in here?
There's nothing like a single malt scotch at 10 o'clock in the morning and a little mud rub. That's what keeps me going.
Hey, oh, God. Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron, I bet you look like the monster from the Black Lagoon.
Shut up! I'm doing pretty good in here. So I say what? Get naked and throw ass at each other. What do you think?
Hey, Larry. Over here.
Just remember, when you gotta go to the bathroom, get out of the tub.
Too late.
Starting to feel a lot better.
Oh, my
I feel like a new man.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a native of Winslow, Arizona, a very funny man, Mr. Bill Engvall.
Oh, it is great to be here tonight. In fact, it's just great to be out of the house. I'll tell you why. My wife and I had an argument last week that was so stupid that it bears repeating. My wife collects twist ties. Welcome to my world. What happened was I went to make a sandwich. I took the bread down, I took the twist tie off, I threw it down, and made my sandwich. Did I put the twist tie back on the bread? No. I did what every man in America does. I spun the loaf of bread and tucked it underneath. And apparently that's where I went wrong. I got a great family. I got a 16-year-old daughter who just got her driver's license. So you should all drop to your knees and thank the good Lord above that you live here and not where we live. She is without a doubt the worst driver on the planet. She's got no depth perception at all. I mean, we're coming up this intersection. There's a car stopped in front of us. I'm like, he stopped. She goes,
I can see that, and I'm like, oh my God, she's her mother. The other day, my neighbor came over, and I was in the yard, and he goes, hey, when'd you put the CD boombox in your car? I said, what? He goes, well, I saw you and your daughter driving down the street, and I heard this boom, boom, boom. And I said, oh, that was me stomping on the imaginary brake on my side of the car. But after driving with her, I'm convinced there needs to be a teenage driving lane on the highway. And it's just lined with mattresses and tires. God, she's growing up. She's growing up, but I don't know when it happened, man. I used to buy her Minnie Mouse panties and little Winnie the Pooh underwear. I came home the other day and I was helping my wife fold clothes. I picked up this little pair of skimpy underwear. I looked at my wife and I said, hey, when are you going to wear these for me? She goes, I can't. They're your daughter's. Ah! No. There was nothing to them. When the how to wash tag is the biggest piece of cloth on there. She's just growing up and she's smarter than me and she's starting to realize that. She came over from high school the other day and she goes, Daddy, can you help me with my math? And I said, yeah, baby, let me take a look at it. When they start putting letters with it. And she's got a lot of friends, which is cool. She's friends with the popular kids, she's friends with the unpopular kids, and she's right in the middle, which is where you want your kid to be, I think. Until they bring home one of their friends you don't see eye to eye with. Like, she's got a little friend who's into this goth stuff. Oh, my God. Have you seen these little freaks? What happened? The black nail polish, black lipstick, black eyeliner, black hair, liquid paper, white face. I'm sorry, didn't we used to call that Halloween? They walked in the front door and I looked at that little girl and just went, But it's my daughter's friend. I'm trying to be nice. And my daughter said, Dad, this is my friend Lucy. And I said, well, hey, Lucy. Fur? She looked at me like, I will set you ablaze right now. See, nobody tells you about all that stuff when you're having kids. Nobody tells you about the stuff that you never hear about. Like, nobody told me that kids would get out of their bed in the middle of the night and come into your room. My son developed this really bad habit. He would get out of his bed in the middle of the night and come to my side of the bed and he'd get that close to my face and just stare at me. And you ever get that feeling when you know you're being watched? He'd be like, Dad. What? And he starts crying. My wife goes, you scared him. I'm like, well, hell, he scared me. Jesus, put a bell around his neck. And if I ever find out who told my son this, I will kill him. Apparently somebody told my son there's a wiener thief out there. And if he takes his hand off it, they're gonna snatch it away. His hand doesn't leave his pants. It's like his own little worry stone. He just... I told him, I said, boy, that thing's got a shelf life, trust me. Then we had to have the big talk this year. I was on the road, my wife called me and said, you need to have a talk with your son. Guess he's in trouble. I said, what happened? She goes, well, his friends taught him how to go on the internet and he brought up one of those sex sites. And I said, oh, God. I said, baby, did you write down the name of the site? Just a reference. She goes, shut up. And I wanted my talk to be more informative with my son than my dad and I's talk was. We didn't even have a talk. And I said, Dad, when are you going to tell me about sex? And he goes, here, just read this Penthouse Forum. So I wanted my talk to be a little more informative, you know. I wanted my son to know about things that could actually happen to him. I'm still waiting on the VW bus full of cheerleaders, but that hadn't happened yet. But I know that these kids today are much more advanced than you and I were. So I sat him down and I said, son, I know you already know a lot of things, so why don't you do this? Why don't you tell me what you know, and then I'll just fill in the blank spots. About 30 minutes later, I'm sitting there with a pen and a pad of paper. What, you can do that? But God bless my family. They've been good to me this year. It's been a rough year on me. I've been trying to quit smoking, and I swear to God it's going to kill me quicker than cigarettes would have. And anybody who's ever tried to quit knows exactly what I'm talking about. It is the hardest thing you will ever do in your life. And people who've never smoked just don't get that. It's like my wife goes, I don't understand why you just don't quit, Bill. Just put him down and quit. And I go, baby, I am trying. It is hard. And she goes, I'm sorry, Bill. I don't understand why you just don't quit. And I go, all right, why don't you quit yelling? Because you can't. And I've tried everything. I tried the gum. I couldn't keep it lit. I tried the patches. They pulled the skin off my lips. Finally, my wife goes, why don't you try acupuncture? And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I go, isn't that where they screw those little needles into you? She goes, yeah. And I go, why don't you try waking up? I'm not going to let somebody screw little needles into me. She goes, Bill, it's your last option. So he found this lady, her name was Dr. Chang. And I had one question for Dr. Chang. Anybody know what that question might have been? Does it hurt? She goes, oh, no, it no hurt. From a door 3 feet away from me, I hear a grown man go, ow, ow. And I go, what was that? And she goes, oh, he big baby. I said, I'm a big baby. So the next thing I know, I'm lying on this bed in my underwear. She has screwed a needle into the top of my head, 3 in each earlobe, 1 in each pec, 1 in each shin, and 3 between each of my toes. And I'm lying on that bed thinking, dear God, I could use a cigarette right now. And I can hear her and her partner talking in Chinese, but I don't speak Chinese. And then they start laughing. I'm like, oh my God, they're filming this. So she comes in at the half-hour mark, and I think she's going to take the needles out. No, she puts a cotton ball on each of the ones in my legs, lights it on fire, and leaves the room. Well, now I'm freaking out, man, because all I can see is smoke drifting up from between my legs, and I cannot inhale it. Okie dokie. Finally, at the hour mark, she comes in, she takes the needles out, and she goes, you come back tomorrow for another treatment. I said, well, let's just book that right now. Hey, after that, I'll schedule a prostate exam. This will be a big old day for me. So I put my ball cap on. I'm going to go home and take a shower because I've sweated through this whole ordeal. And I get home, I'm standing in the bathroom in front of the mirror, and I took my cap off, and I went, ow, ow. She left the needle in my head. Oh, man. I took my family on an RV trip this last summer. I thought RV stood for recreational vehicle. No, it stands for Ruins Vacation. I had never driven one of these things. Dear God, it's 35 feet long, 8 feet wide, and got 2 mirrors that stick out 3 feet on each side. Good Lord. I was like a passenger trying to land a 747. I'm weaving all over the road. I'm getting flipped off by kids in car seats, all right? And I don't know why they put a reverse on these dumb things. I never learned to back it up. If I pulled into a Quickie Mart too far to get gas and I pulled too far past the pump, there was no backing up. It was go all the way around the block and try it again. Thank God I wasn't the only one. Sometimes there'd be 7 or 8 of us just circling that Quickie Mart. It's like a white trash road race. Took my family camping because I'm an idiot. We're going to go camping. We live in LA. Well, we don't have any camping gear. So I go to this store and I'm buying this camping gear, all this stuff, and I saw this product, and when I saw it, I just started laughing. They have, because we've become so ecologically minded now, they've developed a product called rapidly dissolving toilet paper. Just how rapidly are we talking? Because I don't want to have to play beat the clock in the thicket, all right? If it's dark, I can't see what's going on down there. I got to know that toilet paper is going to be there to finish the job. But the reason you do these things, the reason you go on these RV trips and these camping trips is because as your kids grow up, they also grow apart from you, and it just tears your heart out. It's like my little girl, she's 16, and she's at that age where she's in a room listening to her stereo, and she's online with her friends, and little boys are starting to call that. Oh, my God. We had a kid call the house at 2 in the morning. Yeah. Oh, I lost it. Because first off, I'm sound asleep in La La Land with Shania Twain in the mountains somewhere. I hear a phone ring, and I'm like, who's got a phone in the mountains? So when I realized it's my phone, I'm already a little ticked off, so I went, hello! And this little voice goes, is Emily there? And I go, dude, if you have a brain in your skull, you will hang this phone up right now. And my wife goes, Bill, you gotta be nice. I said, no, ma'am, nice stops at midnight. And she said, what are you gonna do when these little boys come over the house? I said, oh, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull the young man in tight next to me so only he and I can hear the conversation. And I'm gonna whisper in his ear, I'm gonna say, boy, look at me. You see that little girl there? That's my only little girl, man. She's my life. So if you have any thoughts about hugging or kissing, you remember these words. I got no problem going back to prison. God bless my wife. That's what she puts up with every day of the year. We've been married for 20 years, and on our 20th anniversary, I got to thinking about the difference between that first year of marriage and that 20th year of marriage. Wow. Remember that first year of marriage, you'd pick a fight just so you could make up and have sex? 20 years later, you pick a fight just so they'll sleep in the other room. Remember that first year of marriage, you come home from work, you had a bad day at work, you go, oh, baby, I had such a bad day, and your new bride would go, oh, let me get you a beer, and you tell me all about it. 20 years later, you walk in the door, ooh, what a day at work, and they go, you want to hear what went on at this house today? While you were at your job? Remember that first year of marriage, if you had to go to the bathroom? Oh, Lord, man, you shut the door, lock it, turn the faucets on, turn the shower on. God forbid they knew you were going poop. 20 years later, bathroom door's wide open. And you're screaming, bring the camera! Remember that first year of marriage, fellas, when you knew bride was going to do laundry and you freaked out because you might have had dirty underwear, so you just threw them away? 20 years later, you're just hoping to gross them out. If you can get your wife to scream, oh my God! Did you hit a deer? Sex change when you get married, you stay married for a long time. I think it has to, because things, they advance, you know? It's like one night my wife and I had a little interlude, and it was hot. I mean, hot, 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 hot. She's arching her back and moaning, and I said, yes, ma'am. You are welcome. I said, I'm really turning you on, huh? She goes, no, you're on my hair. Get off. You never see that in the movies, do you, ladies? That's why I hate love scenes in movies. They're not real. You want to show me a real love scene in a movie? Show me a couple in bed and their dogs are watching them at the edge of the bed. That's real, my friends. You're trying to throw down your best moves and there's these eyes at the edge of the bed. It's like, ooh. Nice move there, Bill. Jeez, don't that hurt your back? I take my wife's bra off and throw it across the room. Dogs bring it back. I can always tell when I'm doing good because the dog growls. It's like, arr, arr, arr. Oh, she's loving this. Arr, arr, arr. You ever get that cold nose? Hey, 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 hey. But you got to be able to laugh, folks, and that's what's important. I'll give you a great example. 3 years ago on my wife's birthday, I had it planned to the T. Bottle of champagne chilled by the bed, candles on the headboard, some soft music playing, and we just got into it. Just that hot pig sex, all right? You know, well, you're not even talking, you're just rooting around, baby. But we forgot about the candles on the headboard. I'm lying on my back. Apparently that headboard was doing a little movement. Because all of a sudden hot wax just goes, and And my wife goes, yes, sir. You are welcome. God bless y'all. This has been great.
Hey, where's Fox?
I don't know. I think he went running around somewhere. You know, he's like a little kid.
My granddaddy had this exact truck right here.
Did he really?
Yep, 1934 Chevrolet 3100.
Can you see me now? Can you see me now? You guys see Jeff? Ron?
Yeah, we can see it.
Where are you?
Looks good, though. What are they making some money in here?
Can you see me now?
Yes, Jeff, we can see it.
Look at this bass. Look at that catfish.
Huge.
By the way, Jeff, we can still see you.
Where?
He's right there. Let's go.
Good God!
Let's go. Jeff, go take it off.
Dude, that's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good right there.
Get out of here.
Coleman camp stove is tough to beat.
Jeff, we see you. You believe that?
That's a fake tree, Larry.
That's Jeff again trying to scare us.
There's a fake tree.
How'd you do that?
See where you started. I like any bait called spanky. Where might we find the stink bait?
Is anybody working this?
There's got to be a stink specialist around here.
We need stink bait.
Stink bait. Do y'all have stink bait? How would you rank the stink? We want
Stanky stink.
stinky, show enough stinking stink.
Probably this right here.
That's a good stink right there. Y'all need to smell that.
Oh, God. $5 says you won't
No,
eat it.
Ryan, eat
$5.
stink bait.
$5.
Nope.
Just taste it. Oh, man.
He did it.
No,
He did it. Oh, my God.
Did it.
Oh, we did it.
Does he need the money?
Ladies and gentlemen, the man you've all been waiting for, Mr. Jeff Foxworthy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How are you? Phoenix in July. Apparently the people that book these things don't get the Weather Channel, but it's been one of those years like that for me. In February, I was doing a show in the northern part of Minnesota, and it was so cold, a beautiful place. It was so cold, it was like 15 below zero. And after the show, we were talking to some guys backstage, and they were trying to talk us in to going ice fishing with them. It's 15 degrees below zero. I said, guys, you know what? I appreciate it. I said, I don't really think I want to be that cold. And one of the guys goes, oh, it's not that cold. He goes, we built a big bonfire out on the lake. And you call us stupid in the South. But I got to thinking about that ice fishing, especially from the point of view of the fish that gets caught and then thrown back. Think about it. In the animal kingdom, that has got to be the closest thing to one of those out-of-body experiences. That fish that gets thrown back, he goes back and he tells his buddies, he's like, dudes, I was just swimming along, and all of a sudden I felt myself being drawn towards the light. And it was getting brighter and brighter, and then I went through this opening, and I saw my dead relatives all around me. And I saw God. He was wearing a flannel shirt and a Budweiser hat. And he held me and said, it's not yet your time. Go back. And that's been one of the cool things about doing this tour is because we've been everywhere in the country. You know, and traveling, it's never a lot of fun, but since 9/11, it's so much more difficult. In the Atlanta airport, I live in Atlanta. In the Atlanta airport, you know where you go through the metal detectors? They have now built a giant plexiglass box that contains all the things that are no longer allowed in your carry-on luggage. And in that box, there is a leaf blower and a Coleman lantern. So if you are an international yard man that likes to work nights, you are SOL right now. A leaf blower. Who is hijacking a plane with a leaf blower? You turn the plane around and mess your hair up so bad your mother never recognized you. If your job requires requires you use a leaf blower and you have to get on an airplane to get to that job, it is really time to review your territory. You see a lot of things in airports. You know, they tell us now the economy's bad. You see it in the airports. Because everywhere we go now, all the rental car places are selling the used rental cars. And I have driven some bad vehicles in my life. I have never been so desperate for an automobile, I wanted a used rental car. Because you know what people do to rental cars. My mother will not drive 55 miles an hour. You put her in a rental car, she's doing donuts in the grocery store parking lot. Buying a used rental car is kind of like going to a house of ill repute looking for a wife. Anything that's been driven that hard by that many people, you really don't want to put your key in it. Well, there's no incentive to take care of a rental car because if you pay the extra insurance, you can total that rental car and they'll bring you another one. And I recommend always get the additional insurance. They're like, Mr. Foxworthy, would you like the additional coverage? I'm like, yes, I would. Because you got a Ford Fiesta that's about to see more airtime than a skateboard at the X Games. So welcome to our job. You know, we talk about this all the time. We feel like we have the coolest job in the world. And it's funny because you're like tonight, you get to meet a lot of people backstage. When you're a comedian, the number one thing people say to you when they meet you, they're like, where do you come up with material? And the honest answer, I think at least for us, is the best stuff is not stuff you make up. It's true stuff. Now, that being said, I have to share this story with you. Last year, I was hosting a show for the Children's Hospital in Atlanta, and a couple came up to me, and the man said to me, hey, I bet you done heard of a redneck thing. And I was thinking, well, I've heard a lot of them, but I love talking to folks. I said, no, go ahead. He said, my wife and I decided if we ever had the chance to meet you, that we had to tell you about the time we were down at her family's house, and while we were there, her brother got his nipple bitten off by a beaver. I said, you have my attention. Because it's kind of hard to walk away from a story like that. You're almost required to say, how did that happen? Oh, and they were happy to share the whole tale. Apparently, the brother and his buddy were driving down the road, and a beaver ran across the street, and they accidentally hit it with a truck, and then the beaver went down into the ditch on the side of the road. So they decided they were going down in the ditch to find this thing, because they wanted to take it to the taxidermist, because we all know how pretty they look on a Thanksgiving dining room table just holding that turkey up. So he said he went down in the ditch, he found the beaver, he picked it up by the tail, and he said, look at it. It ain't cut up or bloody or nothing. And apparently, nothing is the word that brings a beaver back to consciousness. And at that point, the animal lurched out and bit his nipple off. Did not bite it, bit it off. O-F-F off, bit it off. That is a new kind of hurt right there. And it is so rare, I am at a loss for words. The only reply I could come up with, I said, I bet that is the only time in history the headline of the paper could include the words beaver and nipple and nobody be offended by it. That's the other question I get asked. People always say, well, when you say somebody might be a redneck, what do you mean? All right, for the record, my definition of redneck, it is a glorious absence of sophistication. That's all it is. And it can be full-time or part-time. Most of us are guilty of it. And if you're not guilty of it, you do have relatives that are. Think back to the last family reunion you went to, when at the end of it, you got in the car and looked at your spouse and said, oh my God. What is wrong with them? The little one is not right. I guarantee you, the little one is not right. Oh, and trust me, I got rednecks in my family. I got an uncle, every time he gets in and out of the car, he climbs in through the driver's side window. The door's not broke or anything. He just likes to pretend he's a NASCAR driver. Got a few NASCAR fans in Phoenix, huh? I love NASCAR. I will tell you this, it's a difficult thing to talk about on stage because NASCAR fans will start fighting with each other. They do, because every NASCAR fan's got that one driver they love, and every NASCAR fan's got that one driver they can't stand. And Jeff Gordon. It's always Jeff Gordon. You know what? I figured out why a lot of NASCAR fans don't like Jeff Gordon. And it's not because Gordon won the points championship last year, because he wins a lot of races. A lot of NASCAR fans don't like Jeff Gordon because Jeff Gordon enunciates. And there's not a place in NASCAR for that kind of stuff. See, true NASCAR fans want an interview with the driver where you have no idea what he's talking about. Boy, I tell you, we run pretty good all day long and did develop a little bit of a push early in the race, brought her in, Booger Jackson wedge in, and she run like a spotted butt ape after that. Real good pit stop, especially that splash and go there towards the end. Did get a little trouble in the middle of the race, and Ricky puked the motor. I got in his oil. I touched Dale there on the backside, but for the most part, the Hardee's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Chevrolet, she just awesome. As Southern as I am, I'm like, dude, what? Were there any words in that? Speaking of words, I do have a few new redneck words for you. First one, mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, a lot of people here this evening. It's kind of a gift. They come to me in my sleep, I write them down. Brand new one, aorta. Aorta cut that grass down by the ball field so them kids don't get hurt. It's just not the stupidest thing you've ever heard in your life. Initiate. My wife ate 2 hamburgers. Initiate a bag of potato chips. Last but not least, which did you? Which did you? Oh, you didn't bring your truck with you, did you? Somebody will be using which did you tomorrow. And I always felt like you couldn't talk about rednecks unless you are one, and I are one. You know what? Growing up, I didn't know that's what I was, and now looking back, it was oh so obvious. No, I'm not making this up. My entire childhood, our mailbox in front of our house had the letters M-A-L-E painted on the side of it. And by the time I was in the 11th grade, I was like, that ain't right. That M's supposed to be capitalized, isn't it? That is a true story. When I was in the 3rd grade, my uncle did that as a joke, and nobody got it. And not only am I a redneck, I'm married into them too. Married into a special breed of them. My wife and her entire family are from the great state of Louisiana. We were down there about 6 or 7 months ago. My wife's cousin got married down in Baton Rouge, so we went down for the wedding, and we had my wife's entire family together for the rehearsal dinner at Hooters. If I'm lying, I'm dying. And our waitress that night was qualified to work there. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure she was on a scholarship. But the first time she walked up to the table, my wife's Uncle Bud looked at her and went, woo, woo, where'd you get them things, girl? I thought, oh, she's gonna get mad. And she didn't, she was so cool. She said, I bought them. And then Bud's wife, Lois, said, you know, I've been thinking about buying me some. And Bud turned to Lois and said, you are 62 years old. You getting a boob job would be like hanging a new chandelier in a haunted house. She said, well, I figured if I put some new lights in the house, you might stay in it longer than 2 minutes. My children share these genes. And I will say this in defense of my in-laws. My in-laws are nuts. But I know why they're nuts. It's because a long time ago in their lives, they looked at each other and they said, hey, why don't we have children? And I know I'm on my way to being crazy just like my in-laws because I'm a parent. I'm the proud father of 2 little girls. Their ages are 8 and 10. Thank you. I live next door to my brother. He has 3 children. They are all girls. Their ages are 6, 8, and 10. My mother has 9 grandchildren. They are all girls. The oldest one is 13 years old. I live in the estrogen ocean in the middle of the naked Barbie Woodstock. Naked Barbies as far as the eye can see. There are days I have fantasies about being G.I. Joe on a 3-day pass. Hello, lady. But I love these girls, and I have learned so much about girls. I'll tell you something I've learned. I've learned girls can be a little bit more emotional than boys. Yo, I spent half my life trying to figure out what people are crying about. Like, honey, calm down and just tell me what happened. Well, I came in and I was going to go upstairs and play with them, but then they locked the door and they called me a stupid head and they said I couldn't be in their club and I was looking for you and I was calling you and calling you. I'm like, honey, calm down. You're going to scare the children. Now just tell me what happened. No idea what to do with crying because men have been taught all our lives not to cry. That's why when we grow up, we can be out cutting firewood with our buddies. We'll take that chainsaw, saw our leg off at the knee. We're like, I'm all right. Throw the leg in the cooler. Hand me a beer. I'm all right. And kids are great for a comedian because kids are funny without even trying to be funny. My wife and my mother-in-law had ordered bathing suits through the mail order. Yeah. So the bathing suits arrived. They're trying them on. My mother-in-law walks out in her bathing suit. My youngest daughter looked at her and said, Gamma, you shouldn't draw on your legs with a blue magic marker. Needless to say, I had to mop up the milk I had been drinking. It was on the other side of the room, which is pretty good distance through your nose. That's gonna sting a little while. I was doing a thing not long ago for HBO, and they were asking, it was more serious questions. And one of them, they said, what's your earliest recollection in life? And I thought about it, and I said, well, I remember being about 3, and I'm standing on the front seat of the car with my dad, and every time he would turn the corner, I would make the sound of tires squealing. My dad would go, quit squealing my tires. All of a sudden, it dawned on me, what was I doing standing on the front seat of the car? See, back in those days, kids weren't too good to go through the windshield with the rest of the family. When my kids were 3, I couldn't back out of the driveway unless they were in a car seat with a shoulder strap and a safety fit. Think back, I can vividly recall riding all the way to Florida laying in the back window of the car. People behind us going, Harold, is that one of those bobbing dogs? No, that's a skinny kid with a big head. Boy, what a big head. My dad slammed on the brakes. You went and bounced around the car like a pinball game. I remember as a child, my mom would leave me, my brother, and my sister in the car while she ran into the grocery store. If you did that to a poodle now, they would fry you on the 6 o'clock news. And I tell you something else, now that I'm grown and have kids of my own, I understand why my mother didn't want to take 3 youngins in the grocery store. I would rather take a beating with a brick stick than take kids in the grocery store. Because as soon as those doors slide open, those kids start begging like homeless people at Christmas time. Somebody with little kids, help me out here. The worst aisle to take kids down in the grocery store is the cereal aisle. Oh, I hate the cereal aisle. You know why? Because little kids buy cereal the same way grown men buy lingerie. They will buy stuff they care nothing about just to get the prize that's inside. And you forget about the cereal aisle. You know, you got them in the store and you're just trying to keep them from putting stuff in the cart, and you turn the corner and there it is, and they're like, oh, you gotta buy the Fruity Frosted Pebbles. You gotta buy the Fruity Frosted Pebbles. Oh, please buy the Fruity Frosted Pebbles. Please. We are not buying that. We bought it before. You guys didn't even eat it. It went stale. We had to throw it away. We'll eat it today. We'll eat it in the car on the way home. I promise. I swear. I promise. I swear. I said, I'm not buying it. Put it back. You gotta buy it. You gotta buy it. You gotta buy it. And that is the point. When I very calmly walk up to the child and I say, where are your parents? Everything has changed. Even their toys have changed. I notice with my kids now, every toy they get's got little tags in it showing you somebody has inspected it to make sure there's no possible way a child could hurt themselves playing with that toy. I remember being 9 years old. My parents bought me a wood-burning kit. Hey, what could possibly go wrong with a toy like that? A sharp metal stick that heated up to 5,000 degrees. And I'll tell you something, our dogs and cats didn't have a little tag around their neck, but everybody in the neighborhood knew who they belonged to. Yeah, the Circle F brand, that's Foxworthy cat right there. You remember the wood-burning kits? Remember those things? The cord on it was about that long. So you're always guaranteed to be right next to the drapes while you played with it. What were they thinking, some of those toys? Did anybody else have the swing set? My parents were too lazy to actually pour the concrete in the ground. We had the swing set. Every time you swung above this high, the front legs would go womp, womp, womp. There were stuntmen that would not swing on our swing set. What were they thinking, some of those toys? Lawn darts. 12-pound darts. You could kill an elk with a lawn dart. And there were no directions. They just came in a box of 8. We used to pull them out of the box, throw them straight up in the air. You catch one of those with your head, you're getting coloring books for Christmas for the rest of your life. I have a lot of guys will say to me, man, how you live with all those women? I love living with all those women because I've accepted the fact they just about have got me trained the way they want me. See, a lot of men go through their entire lives never realizing they're being trained. Guys, if you got a wife, a girlfriend, a mother, or a daughter, you are being trained. And just because they ain't using the cattle prod don't mean it ain't happening. I've been married 18 years to an awesome girl. It did not dawn on me until about year 5. She was training me, and I remember the night I realized it. We were both in bed reading one night, and my wife said, I'm hot. And I closed my book, got out of bed, walked over to the wall. I turned on the ceiling fan. I was almost back to the bed, and I went, whoa. I wasn't hot. And I guarantee you the next morning she called her mother and said, Mama, it is working so well. Last night all I had to say was I'm hot, and he got out of bed and turned on the ceiling fan. And I'm sure her mother said, baby, I am so proud of you. Oh, I'd put your daddy on the phone and let you tell him, but I just said I'm hungry and he ran into town to give me something to eat. Guys, do you know why they are able to train us? They are smarter than us. It ain't that big a deal. That's saying you're smarter than a creature that every time it takes off its underwear, it tries to grab them with its toes, flip them in the air, and catch them with its hand. You are smarter than that. It is a good feeling when you catch them on the first try, though, isn't it? Got my underpants right there. See, women are smart, and women keep men confused. We do, because like a lot of times men and women can say the exact same thing to each other and get totally opposite responses. Like a woman could say to a man, I'm not wearing any underwear. Man's first thought is, all right, might get lucky. But if a man says to a woman, I'm not wearing any underwear, her first thought is, oh no, I'm gonna have to wash those pants twice. And I found from living with all these women, you know, it's funny, men and women worry about totally different stuff. Like, I wish I had a dime for every time in 18 years of marriage that my wife has said this one to me. Usually right when we're walking out of the house, she'll go, how's my butt look? And if you've been married longer than 10 seconds, you know the answer to that one. Great. You know, it's so small, I could barely see it in this light. But apparently women put a lot of thought into what their butts look like. Ladies, do you know men are not even aware of the fact we have a butt till it starts itching? And a lot of guys aren't aware of the fact scratching it in public might be offensive to somebody. Mr. President, how you doing? Good to see you. And men ought to keep our hands off our rear ends. We should. For a lot of reasons. The biggest one is because we are causing our own butt erosion. We are. Have you ever seen an old man's butt? No, you have not, because they don't have one anymore. They've scratched it all off. An old man's butt looks like you made a frog stand up and put on a pair of double knit pants. When you lie down to go to sleep tonight, I want that to be the last visual image. That frog pulling them britches up. And I have lots of theories about women, and I'm sure none of them are right. But you know what? I found out women have just as many theories about men. Probably the most common theory women have about men. I bet I've heard this one in every state. It goes something like this. Well, if he's got big feet, then you know. Or if he's got big hands, or if he's got a big nose, or if he's got big ears. Well, I tell you what, he better be packing, because that's one goofy-looking guy right there. And silly as it is, men do worry about these things. And ladies, bless your heart, you have come up with all these expressions to reassure us. Oh, honey, it's not the size of the ship, it's the motion of the ocean. Which might be true, but I know it takes a long time to get to England in a rowboat. A couple of ladies writing that down. Takes a long time. And talking about time, that's something else I've learned in 18 years of marriage. Guys, when it comes to romance, don't be in a hurry. Because see, women are like diesel engines. And what I mean by that is, it may take a little while to get them warmed up. But once you do, they can run a long, long time. Whereas men, on the other hand, see, men are more like bottle rockets. Ooh, ah. You guys have been great. Thanks for listening to me. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. I want you to do me a favor. Keep this going. Bring my buddy Bill Engvall out here one more time. Billy!
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeff Foxworthy right there! Hey, keep it going. Bring back Ron White, Larry the Cable Guy.
They great.
They are. You guys have been simply awesome.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart. You know, I got to tell you, this show has been the most fun thing I have ever done in show business. And when we first started doing this, the first night we had no idea of how to close it. And I will tell you this, when you're a comedian, the greatest thrill in the world is making people laugh. But it gets your adrenaline going so much, there's no way you can possibly go to sleep at the end of the night. And so we've all been friends for about 15 years. And so we have spent so many nights at the Waffle House at 2 o'clock in the morning just sitting around and telling stories. And so we decided, you know what, that's the way we're going to close this thing every night, is to just come out and tell stories that has made each of us laugh through the years.
And I got to tell you something, and everybody's got great stories, but Yin Yang here, you got to tell the story about when you took your sister to the flea market because she was all bummed out. Remember that?
Yeah, she make Ray Charles flinch. Well, my sister is covered with mold. All right, she got mold all over her face there, bunch of mold. And we used to call her Old Moly. But she went down there to church and got saved. Now we call her Holy Moly. And it ain't funny, to be honest with you. But she's feeling bad about her mold, so we figured we'd lift her spirits. Took her up to the flea market up there, get her something nice, and we was up there. She's already feeling bad about her moles, and then the night before, she got this horse, and it busted its leg, and I had to shoot it, and now it's got a broken leg and a gunshot wound. I don't know what you're supposed to shoot it for, but, I guess it helps in the healing process or something, I ain't sure. If it ain't there by next week, I'm gonna shoot it again, I'll tell you that, man. But we was up there at the flea market, and my grandma couldn't make it up there. She got arrested at Bass Pro Shops. Yeah, she was eating a corn dog and got the farts in there. And they accused her of stealing a duck call and some stink bait at the Bass Pro Shop. Ridiculous. She didn't even have any pockets on that nightgown she was wearing in there. So we's up at the flea market, and my sister's feeling bad about her moles, and she's complaining all day long about her moles. My moles this, my moles that, my mole. So we walked past this feller up there at the flea market, got no legs, all right, selling boots. That's right, got no legs, half an arm, one ear. Name was Lucky. So I told my sister, I said, listen, D. Wayne, I said, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed. Because here's a feller, got no legs, selling boots, whistling, enjoying himself, and you is complaining about a few moles. You ought to be thankful for everything the Lord give you. And she said, you know what? You're right, I ought to be thankful for what the Lord gave me. She started to get a little extra hitch in her giddy up, started smiling a little more, and as soon as we passed that fella there with no legs, I heard him say to his buddy, good Lord, did you see the moles on that girl's face right there? That's right. True story.
Well, Larry, thank you so much for sharing that with everybody.
Makes you feel better about your family, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it really does. It's kind of like going to the state fair every time. Feel better about your own relatives. It's Ron's turn. I'm going to let you guys pick tonight. He can either tell the story about, remember when they put the Bengay in his grandmother's girdle? Or the time he got thrown out of the bar in New York City.
Oh, yeah. We got to go to the bar.
New York. All right, New York. I got thrown out of a bar in New York City. Now, when I say I got thrown out of a bar, I don't mean somebody asked me to leave and we walked to the door together, and I said, bye, everybody, I gotta go. 6 bouncers hurled me out of a nightclub like I was a Frisbee. Those big old New York bouncers that think bouncing's a cool job to have, they just think about bouncing. They hang out with other bouncers talking about bouncing. They go home every night, watch Roadhouse, and fondle themselves. For wearing a hat, I walk into a bar with a hat on. This guy, real pissed, he goes, "Take off the hat!" And I'm like, "What's the deal?" He goes, "I'll tell you what the deal is. Gay people in this area wear hats. We're trying to keep them out of our club." I'm like, "Oh, really? The only way we can tell down in Texas is if they have their hair cut like yours." And he got all pissed. But he walked away, and I took the hat off, and like an hour later, I'd been drinking, and I forgot. You ever forget? It happened to me. I put the hat back on. The guy comes over to me. Now, I'm between 6'1" and 6'6", depending on which convenience store I'm leaving. I weigh 230 pounds. The guy comes over to me, poking me in the shoulder with 2 fingers, says, "You're out of here." I was like, "I don't think so, Scooter." And I was wrong. They hurled me out of that bar. And then they squared off with me in the parking lot, and I backed down from the fight because I don't know how many of them it would have taken to whip my ass. But I knew how many they were going to use. That's a handy little piece of information to have right there. Well, they called the police because we broke a chair on the way out the door, and I refused to pay for it. I refused to pay for it because we broke it over my thigh. The cops showed up, and at that point, I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability. The cop says, "Mr. White, you are being charged with drunk in public." I was like, hey. I was drunk in a bar. They threw me into public. I don't want to be drunk in public. I want to be drunk in a bar, which is perfectly legal. Arrest them. Well, he didn't arrest them. Instead, he made me do a field sobriety test where you stand on one foot, raise the other foot 6 inches off the ground, and count to 30. I made it to woo. Is that going to be close enough? Well, it wasn't close enough, so they call in for my arrest record. There's some good news. Satellites are linking up in outer space. Computer banks at NASA are kicking on. There's a telegraph in Fritch, Texas going beep, 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 This part takes a while. Shorthand. Now, I told you that story to tell you this story. When I was 17 years old, I was arrested for being drunk in public.
There kind of seems to be a pattern there, Ron.
If you knew Morse code, you'd already know that. And one DWI, which was a bogus charge because it turns out they were stopping every vehicle traveling down that particular sidewalk. And that's profiling.
And profiling is wrong. On the drunken public charge in French, Texas, the arresting officer, who I had literally known all my life. You know what I mean? This guy lived 4 doors down from me in a town of less than 400 people. We've met. He takes me to jail. When we get there, he asks me if I have any aliases. And I was just being a smart ass and said, yeah, they call me Tater Salad. 17 years later in New York City, I'm handcuffed on a bench with blood coming out of my nose, and this cop goes, are you Ron Tater Salad? What? You caught me. You caught the tater. Thanks a lot. You got a lot of fun. Love that story.
All right, it is your turn, and you don't get a choice. You have got to do some Here's Your Sign.
Thank you. I had the great opportunity this year to take my family to the Winter Olympics, and it was great being an American, being in our home country and all that. And we were renting a car up in Salt Lake City, and it's got a ski rack on it, and we was putting the skis up in the ski rack. And the guy at the car right next to me goes, you going skiing? I said, nope, we put them on top of the car in case we flip over on an icy road. Here's your sign. This last year I had a chance to go elk hunting. I got me a nice one, had it hung on the den wall there in my house. And my neighbor comes over and he goes, you shoot that thing? I said, nope, he ran through the wall and got stuck. Here's your sign.
Hey, Bill, tell them about the one in Buffalo when we did the show in Buffalo. Remember when they lost it?
Oh, God. We did this show up in Buffalo, New York, and we land at the airport. We all go down to get our luggage, and mine didn't show up, which I know happens. So I go down to the lost luggage office where everybody's in such a good mood. Who applies for that job? Who says, I want to work in lost luggage? You don't have a good day. That's like having a job emptying porta potties. You're just going to catch crap all day long.
That is beautiful. Did you just make that up?
Yeah. I like to use analogies in my show. That's where they compare things. That's funny. I don't care who you are right there now. That's funny right there. So I'm trying to be nice to this woman in the lost luggage office. And I said, excuse me. And she goes, can I help you? I said, yes, ma'am. You lost my luggage. She looked me right in the eye and said, has your plane landed yet? Where? I said, no, princess, I'm having an out-of-body experience. I'm just checking on it. Here's your sign.
I hate to stop you, but I've got one for you, and I know you have so many of these things.
Here, this one.
But this happened to me last week. We're in the process of remodeling our house. We've been doing it for a while, and we have the painters in there right now. You know, and they're putting the sheets over the furniture, and we have a piano, just a regular up against the wall piano. Last week, one of the painters says to me, "Is that y'all's piano?" No, that's our coffee table. It just has buck teeth. Here's your sign.
He did not,
yes,
did he?
Did.
Oh, then I'll keep that one. I'm going to keep that one. Hey, let me try one of these Bill Engvall, here's your sign, Dave.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to start this.
No, you can use it. Your next album will go aluminum. My grandma is covered with mold. My grandma recently just passed away. 104 years old. That's right, but they saved the baby.
I don't think he's kidding.
Now, my grandma just passed away, 104 years old. So I go up there to the flower feller to, get her flowers and a card up there at the flower feller.
Wait,
I was walking in there.
wait. Stop it. You bought a card for your dead grandmother.
They had them there.
I know I'm going to regret this. What did it say?
Get well soon.
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
A little late. But anyway, 104 years old. Passed away. I go up there at the flower feller. He said, what's this for? I said, my grandma passed away, 104. He said, oh, 104. How'd she die? How'd she die? She's 104. She wrecked her Harley up there at Bike Week. Here's your sign.
It was better than I thought it was going to be. Hey, Bill, I got one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. My son, Tater Tot, is covered with mold. My son, when he was 6 years old, was going to fly by himself from Dallas to Austin to spend a week with his grandmother. I'm putting him on the plane. His grandmother's taking him off the plane. And the lady I was buying the ticket from says, is there going to be somebody there in Austin to pick him up when he gets off the plane? But no, I'm going to pin a $20 bill to his collar and wish him the best of luck. Here's your sign.
Bill, what do you say you try one?
Yeah, let me give it a shot. A couple weeks ago, a car broke down. I was on the side of the road, had the hood up, and there's smoke just pouring out of the motor. This guy stops to see if I'm all right, but he asked the stupid question. He goes, your car break down? Nope, car wanted cigarettes. I pulled over. Here's your sign. I was in the store the other day. I'm buying some pants, and I put the pants up on the counter, and the little girl behind the counter goes, you gonna buy those? I said, nope, gonna steal them. Just wanted you to see them before I walked out of the store.
Hey, tell them about the one that you done did over. What you call her? Remember that?
Yeah, Bill, tell us about the one you done did over at that deal there, Bill.
He just ended a sentence in 9 prepositions.
He's an overachiever.
I don't know about all that, but...
I know the one you're talking about, all right. I came out of the mall one day. The guy parked right next to me, standing there with a coat hanger in his window. And I could not stop myself. I said, you lock your keys in your car? No. He whooped around and said, nope, just washed it. Gonna hang it up to dry. Here's your time. But the best one I've seen yet happened in Los Angeles, California. I got stuck behind a big rig that had wedged his trailer up underneath an overpass. And me and the truckers were waiting on the side of the road on the tow truck driver. Well, the highway patrolman pulls up and looks at the guy's rig, and he looks at the trucker, and I'm thinking, oh, dear God, he can't say it. Because I'll start laughing. Sure enough, he goes, you get your truck stuck? And God bless this trucker, without missing a beat, he goes, nope, I was delivering that overpass. I ran out of gas. Here's your time. Thank you. Well, folks, I know this, I can speak for the rest of these guys. This has been one of the most awesome nights of my life, and everybody up here, and I know it's been good for y'all. But I know you are not going to leave this room until you hear some You Might Be a Redneck.
If you think NSYNC is where your dirty dishes are, you might be a redneck. If you take your dog for a walk and you both use the tree at the corner, you might be a redneck. If you think a 401k is your mother-in-law's bra size, you might be a redneck. If your dad's cell number has nothing to do with a telephone, you might be a redneck. If you keep a fly swatter on the front seat of the car so you can reach your kids in the back seat of the car. They're like, can you do that? Is that okay? No, don't do that. If your working television sits on top of your non-working television, you might be a redneck. If you've ever been accused of lying through your tooth, you might be a redneck. If you work without a shirt on and so does your husband, you might be a redneck. If an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger changed your life, you might be a redneck. If you've ever worn a tube top to a funeral home, you might be a redneck.
Oh my God, wait. I can't even believe you just said that.
Why, did you see that?
No, I got one better. If you've ever opened a beer during a eulogy, you might be a redneck.
I'm just guessing one of your relatives.
My Uncle Jack. I swear to you, Jeff, we weren't even outside. We were in the church. And the Reverend had just finished the eulogy and we heard, and we look in the back and he's sitting there with a beer and he goes, what?
Mama looks good, don't she?
That ain't Mama.
No, that's her. They just shaved her beard off. Forgot my beer.
All right, well, as long as you're telling ones on your relatives, I'm telling one on you. This is one he did, and it's about 12 years ago in Iowa. I want you to think back. A couple of DJs told me about this.
No.
If you have ever ridden an electric floor buffer,
All right, wait. Tequila was involved. Get off me.
Wonder how many times his wife has said that. One more on you. If you ever empty the bed of your pickup truck by driving backwards really fast and slamming on the brakes,
that's how we moved.
You might be a redneck. If you've ever used a bar stool for a walker, you might be a redneck. If you think Silence of the Lambs is what happens when Larry walks out to the barn,
That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. Get her done.
if there is an electronic singing fish in more than 3 rooms of your home, you might be a redneck. If you missed 5th grade graduation because you had jury duty, might be a redneck. If you think fast food is hitting a deer at 65 miles an hour, you might be a redneck. If somebody tells you you have something in your teeth and you take them out to see what it is, you might be a redneck. If you have a complete set of salad bowls and they all say Cool Whip on the side, you might be a redneck. If you wear a dress that is strapless with a bra that isn't, you might be. Think about that and try to sleep tonight, all right? If you've ever stared at a can of orange juice because it said concentrate, you might be a redneck. If you've ever had your nipple bitten off by a beaver, you might be a redneck. God bless you guys. God bless you. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Those crouchers good? Can I borrow it 1 second? Boy, that does good. Hey, wash that off real good when you get home.
Got something for Larry's dressing room.
Let's see what it does.
Fart detected. Fart detected.
Every time that I come home, nobody wants to let me be.
Who's the actor here?
There are no actors here. Believe me, this is an actor-free environment.
Look at this. I could Halloween in these things. Look at that.
I feel like 100 pesos right now. Look at this.
No.
Don't ask me no questions, and I won't tell you no lies. So don't ask me about my business, and I won't tell you goodbye.
Come on, guys, it's showtime.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to do a little something for my honeymoon.
I'm doing a book signing in Alabama, and this guy comes up and he said, "Will you personalize it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll write whatever you want." He said, "I want you to write, to Josh, please quit flicking your boogers in your daddy's truck." But I'm trying to make conversation with the guy, and I said, "How old's your son?" Thinking he's gonna say like 4 or 5. He goes, 22.
2786. All right, Big Tom.
Well, hold on, they're still flying.
What do they do with these?
Take them to Hooters.
I could sell used cars in Texas.
Good. So don't ask me no questions.
Earlier today, we were in Victoria's Secret. This is from Rhonda's Secret.
Hey, Larry, I found something that's going to remind you of your prom night.
I'm going to have the Texas cheesesteak and hash browns I want with cheese, onions, chili, jalapenos, hot sauce.
What is wrong with you?
What?
Does your cardiologist know that you eat this way?
Believe me, Fox, I didn't get to where I am today worrying about what I was going to feel like tomorrow.
Oh, you're just going to let me die, aren't you?
Oh, my God.
Hold on now.
Oh, my God.
Go up there and stand like that, and I swear I'll get it right by you.
All right.
How do you do it?
Oh, there you go.
All right. Beautiful. Look at this. You might be a redneck if you've ever slept in the Waffle House.
I'm about to go on record right now and saying I don't think any of this is funny. The director of this film is easily amused.
So don't ask me no questions, and I won't tell you no lies. Yeah, don't ask me about my business, and I won't tell you goodbye.
Saddle that cow up and I'll ride it till it spits. Don't tell nobody I done that. That's just for you.